Welcome everyone back to Pommy and All's. Hope we're all doing really well. If you're new around here, hit that like button, hit that subscribe. It really helps the channel out. You can become a member. Link is in the description to that. We've got a couple of special things for the members this week in the buy. We have a special chat tonight to help you live, so you can join in on that and then watch it a bit later if that's what floats your boat. We've got the wonderful Carlton Witch, the explicit Empress, on with us. We're going to be discussing mindset and positivity and how you go about things. And she's well worth a watch as well. She's good value. So come and check that out. You might get something out of it personally, but you'll definitely get something out of it in a sporting sense as well. We've got the Hot 20 as well getting released on there, which is all about the draft. So if you want to learn about the Camporellis and the other young kids there, especially if you're a Carlton fan, with a lot of rumours of us sneaking in before the Camporellis, you'll get to see a few players that I've picked out there. And then we've got another little special thing on Sunday for the members. So you've got 3 little videos to join in on. That should be exciting. We have got as well over the weekend, we're going to do a little mid-season live review for all of you. So if you want to tune in, that'll be kind of like a fan cams thing. We'll have a little bit of kickback. And tomorrow night, Friday, you have a special team show where we're going to be trying to work out what is Carlton's best 23. If that is something. So stay tuned for that. Lots of content to keep you in your week off from Blues football. And we're here to discuss and for the highs. There's got to be some lows for you to enjoy the highs. And that is Carlton's 3-point loss, 104 points to 101 in the VFL versus the Essendon Bombers at Windy Hill. Great name, has to be said, Windy Hill. And it was a game of a seesaw event, wasn't it? The first half, the Blues looked really assured, really strong. They put on numbers very quickly. Essendon, though, just chipped away. And it's no surprise, really. Saad El-Hawi, the MSD pick, he was sensational. 4 goals, 27 touches. Unfortunately, looks like his season may be all but over with the injury he sustained, but he was a real hard work for Carlton's backline and the mids. Dylan Shield, he played as well. Sam Wiedemann, Lewis Hayes, Nick Bryan, he was sensational in the ruck. Really, really gave them some ascendancy in the second half. The young lads as well, Nicky Bryan, Nate Caddy, they chipped in as well. Nate Caddy, particularly up forward, was a constant menace for the Blues. Jaden Davey and his brother, they chipped in with a goal. And they wound us down. They ground us down. And it did show a little bit of a lack of game management. And I thought the fourth quarter particularly, the Blues will learn a lot. And we're going to go into that about the AFL listed players. It's no surprise that in the coaches' votes, not one Carlton AFL player was listed in the votes. And what did they learn? That is what we're looking at when we're doing this show. Is there anything that they've learned that will acquit themselves in the big time? And let's get straight into that and digest their game. Jesse Motlop, if we'd done these votes at 3/4 time, I would have said the easiest 10 I have handed out in my history of doing VFL reports, playing a lot more in that Erasio Fantasia type role. He ended up with 16 touches, 2 goals, 1, going at 75%, 7 inside 50s, 4 clearances, 4 tackles. Now, obviously, the big thing with Jesse Motlop, and I'm not going to pick on him too much because I don't want you to think it's picking on him. I am probably in the top 5 of Jesse Motlop fan club tickets. I was hot on him in the draft. Now, I know it's only his 3rd game back. He was highly touted in the preseason. I thought his first 3 quarters were absolutely sensational. Absolutely sensational. And I was like, Jesus Christ, this guy's in. This guy's in. Well done, mate. Well done. You've put your name in the shiny lights. When we watched the 4th quarter, though, the 4th quarter was very cagey. And I'm not going to take away from Essendon. They were incredibly good. They did what they had to. They were very astute in what they did. My issue was, he kind of went missing in the 4th. Big style for me. I really felt this was the game that a player of his caliber, especially with the 2 tackles inside 50, he was really there, grabs the game by the scruff of the neck and gets you over the line. because when you watch AFL, you've seen this quite a lot. It's them moments, taking them moments. And I felt this was his moment. Now, I understand probably match fitness is not quite there. I understand that. I just felt this game was destined. He'd done the hard work for 3 quarters. I wanted to see the 4th quarter polish, and I didn't quite see it from him. That said, it was a sensational game. He was easily the best of the AFL guys, in my opinion. He was a head and shoulder above the rest. Makes an interesting predicament, though, because I think that 4th quarter will come into it. You can say, Pom, you're being harsh, maybe. But we've got to seek perfection here when they come in. And I felt that this was probably the game. He's definitely, if he's named against Geelong, I'm not going to cry. I think he's done enough. But up next, Caleb Marchbank. This was an interesting game about Caleb. Like, you really want to see him come in. Now, that being said, some very important intercept pauses there, 7 of them, particularly when it got mental in the quarter 4. Did get lost a few times, though, I felt. And it did look it kind of gave me, I wouldn't say Lewis Young vibes in skill ways, but there was kind of some nervy moments there from him where I had to watch this game and just remind myself, because I think people forget that Caleb Marchbank ain't a pup. Do you know what I mean? He's 28, just around Christmas time. I didn't feel like I was watching a 28-year-old. If you told me he was 23, I'd probably give that a 9. Didn't see it. I know it was slippery and it was poor. It was poor, but it felt like at times he wasn't as confident and composed. The 8 marks, the 7 intercepts, 4 tackles, 82% efficiency. I feel like when you're in here now, listening to Chin Cotter in his interview as well, talking about how you've got to kind of be the leader and be the example, I didn't feel leadership vibes from Marchbank. Now, I'm not judging him on leadership vibes, but I kind of am in that terms. I just felt like it needed to be more composed, and it didn't. And then I kind of think that if you're struggling against like Nate Caddy and players like that, in the AFL, Nate Caddy, although he'll be a great player, isn't in that upper echelon. And you look at our back 6 at the moment, they look very confident, they're very composed. So definitely a guy that I think needs a couple of games to really get into speed. It was a lot better than what we've seen, but I feel like there's another ceiling for Marchbank now. I feel like at 28 years old this year, we've got to be judging him on finished article. We can't be thinking about potential. We should be seeing the finished article. If we're seeing what we're seeing from Brodie Kemp, no doubt we should be able to see it from Marchbank week in, week out. Jackson Binns, a little bit more of a different role for the Binns dog this week. A lot more time inside, a lot more time forward. And we've really started to see, as the Blues have started to fit him in, a little bit of a depreciation of him. He took his goal well, and he's a constant menace front of centre. The 50% efficiency does kick you in the short and curlies, though. And this is the thing with Binns. Feel like he could take the safe option. He always feels like he's at level 10, where I'd like to see a level 7, 6. And a bit different when you get in the cozier touches on the outside. He was a lot more aggressive this week. I did like his tackles and his tackle intent. That is a big, big plus for me with Jackson. He's really increased his defensive half. Particularly the tackle inside 50 was a real good chase down. 6 out of 10 for Jackson. A lot to build on, though. Like, people, I think, are getting worried he's not playing and stuff. Like, if you are a 19-year-old kid and you are demanding to play at AFL football on the back of one good year of VFL, that might be everything that's wrong with society and sport. I feel Jackson is learning his role. I feel like he's really adding layers, and that excites me because we've seen loads of great clubs rest their players in the VFL and get it. The moment in quarter 2 really showed, I thought, the specialness of Jackson Binns with his work rate. Played the give and go, carried on, got the goal. Very well, smart taking goal, good team goal. He's adding them layers, and that's all we can ask. And I think adding this ability to be a bit versatile, that's huge. I think here that this could be one of them years that if we can start getting him inside and out, there's definitely an option there in the senior list. And I'm not bothered about his size. He's got a bit of nous about him. I really do like Jackson. I think we're going to see some good things with this role change. Harry Lemmy, a gentleman that's probably a lot required at the moment from him. A lot of expectation. 10 touches, 70%. 4 inside 50s. His work rate just outside of the arc is incredible. 2 tackles, 4 score involvements, 2 goals, 1 in the end. I really like Lemmy's game. I felt in the fourth quarter he could have presented a little bit better. I felt like Carlton needed an outlet ball, and that's probably why I've given him a 6. Solid game, though. There's something to work with Harry. He's really starting to command that area a little bit. It's probably more of a moments thing. I'm really enjoying his development, and he's kind of left alone up top, really, which is quite interesting. I don't feel like Carlton have the natural forwards to really help him. And that's probably a really good learning curve for him because he's really having to get like load tested on his ability. I enjoyed what I saw from Harry. He works his heart. He works hard, and it's a good little build. It's nice to see him back in the happy section of this. Lewis Young gave him a 7. There was some Lewis Young moments in this, but I did think in the fourth, albeit he did stand up and he was a bit of the brick wall at times. The disposal efficiency, again, I really like to see that how he was using the ball. He was going for more of the safe options, which I do think prohibits him maybe in that back 6, but definitely he's put his hand up to be the next in line should there be any injuries or should there be any issues. And I really want to see these games. He did look more of the leader down there than anyone else in the back half. 4 intercept possessions, 7 marks. Rarely got beaten one-on-one, to be fair. And he did look like he handled the wet conditions better than most for a big guy. He's a guy who needs the confidence. And I really like the fact that they're putting him really deep in the back line in the reserves to really work on his game. He's a guy that, for me, I'm happy for him to stay on the list as the next in best dressed. Like, this is going to be a real good opportunity. Should we get like a young key defender to develop, means we're safe. So he can become like the next Sam Durden type player who is the backup, but the leader down the back. Rob Monaghan, I'm really enjoying Rob Monaghan. What a great game, 5 out of 10, but I'm really enjoying his development. There's something about him. He's got a little bit of pizzazz. He's starting to learn the ropes. He kind of went a bit lost in this game, but I like the patterns he's running. The patterns are quite clever. That will come. The tackles are getting better as well. You can see he really enjoys that side of the game. And there's something there about when you watch Rob play. He's starting to really build. He's definitely one that I'm excited about seeing his mate Matt Duffy come into the system next year. And he's slowly building. I can see what Agresta and Austin see in him, though. You can see it. There's something there. He just needs to learn the pace of the game a bit. But solid effort. Billy Wilson, for me, would be up there with Jesse Mortlob. His consistency, and I know Jackson Binns probably gets the limelight this year, but I don't think many people have been better than Billy. He's been very good. 21 touches, 57.1 efficiency. Now, people will say, well, Pom, that's a bit loose. Maybe he is. But you look at what he does with the ball, it's very aggressive. And he's probably, out of all of them who played this week, of the AFL listed lads, the guy that suits the role with what he does is probably Billy Wilson playing off halfback. He really does take the game on. He looks to hit targets. Playing kind of that Jesse, Jordan Boyd type role. So that gives you the indication there. He's got a real good turn of pace there. Rebound 56, 2 marks, 7 intercept possessions. He really is learning that Sard type pick in the pocket. 3 tackles, 7.5. Really like this kid. And be someone that probably felt a bit unlucky when Sard was out, maybe not to get a gig. One to watch, though, definitely. He's really starting to build, and I really enjoy what Billy brings. Really good energies. Sam Durden, this is a tough one, because when you watch Sam Durden, he's the oldest there. He should be the most maturest, and at times he does some junior football stuff. Again, him and Lewis Young, this is what I think really prohibits the VFL from really going into the next level. For the AFL, where we've got Lewis Young and Sam Durden, who are both not aggressive ball users when they do get their intercepts, kind of changes how the transition works. Would be really nice this time next year to get 2 young players in who are going to play that more attacking role, and we can kind of get a simile of this, because it seems to be like a little bit like Carlton in the lower ranks last year, where we were a bit more lethargic in the back movement. That's no disrespect to Sam Durden and Lewis Young. That's how they play. We knew that when we signed them. So definitely the stopgap for me. He's definitely like waiting for multiple injuries, which we don't want, touch wood. So I need to see a bit more leadership from him. I'd like to see him play a bit more in the back pocket and give this guy and the other guys a little bit more of a chance in the centre. Domaku, this was probably his best game for a while. He took the game on. We saw a little bit more weapons from him, particularly in the intercept department, 2 tackles. He's an interesting one here because obviously with the Camporellis coming, Carlton aren't going to have a plethora of picks. He is out of contract this year. Is this something that Carlton just give another year to while they get another young kid in and maybe delist some of the older guys, which I suspect is probably the mantra that the Blues will look for. This is something that Dom's got to watch this game and go, this is a lot better for me. This is what I'm about. This is how I got into the AFL system. So I did like his game, 6.5. There is still then weaknesses there, but this was probably the happiest I've seen Dom in the terms of he was using his pace. He was trying to take the game on. And that feels like, for me, if you didn't play Durden and Lewis Young, we might see a little bit more than that because he did look like he was going to give it a go. And I do like that. Ashton Moyer, tackle. It's very interesting that he's really added these defensive layers. I wanted to see a little bit more offensively from him, but it was interesting that he really did play into that Fogarty role of stopping people. And that's a big thing for Ashton. When we look at Jack Martin, who's probably a simile in the AFL, probably one of the things that Jack Martin's guilty of, and this is just the way, the nature of the beast of them type of players, is if he's not kicking goals, he kind of doesn't do anything. I like the fact that Ashton's really working on this defence, and we've seen that over the last couple of weeks. Only a 5, though, for him, because offensively, there wasn't quite anything there. Some of them were poor entries to him. He did lead well, and I do like the way that he kind of invokes the free kick in the way that he moves. Good base, though, of this defence, because we're starting to see a bit more of a well-rounded player. My one concern is I don't want them to coach that natural offence out of him. I like the fact he's got that hunger. I like the fact that he tries to do the unthinkable at times. And he felt like this was like kind of a reset from last week where at times he was overexcitable. So I don't mind it one week. I want to see the next game him really focused though on using his natural wares. And Alex Murkoff, 6 out of 10 against AFL listed Ruckman, which he is as well. You've got to remember that. He absolutely battered Vigo Vicente, which we expect to. He's 18 years old and built like a wisp. But Nick Bryan, he did struggle against. Nick Bryan did give him a bit of a lesson at times. 25 hit-outs, though. He did like kind of pull it back towards the end. The clearance work is what's impressed me the most. He's really starting to get on it. And they're not like Mark Pittonet bomb it on the foot kind of clearances. He's trying to handball it through traffic and stuff, which I like. Work rate around the ground, come see, come sa at times, as the French would say. I feel like there's something there. I'm waiting for him to put it all together because somewhere between all the games we reviewed is the perfect game. So I do like his Ruckcraft, though. His Ruckcraft is getting stellar. Hudson O'Keefe not there at the moment for the rest of the year, so this is a real good chance for him. But that's the VFL wrap. Let me know. There is some case notes there. Definitely Jesse Motlop's put his name forward, and Billy Wilson continues his great development. Looking forward to seeing a few more players as they return. That should make us a little bit more excited to watch. Tough times, though, at the VFL, so it's enjoyable to watch, to try and get in the mindset of taking something out. Peace, love, and light. Palm out.
I see her rolling up, Uber black Cadillac, high heel boots and a sexy body full of tats. Baby's bad, oh baby's hella